Hi my loves, and welcome back to yet another vlog. In today's video we are going to London. Alright, so it's been a while since I've been to London. I think the last time I went there was back in 2022 and I went to renew my passport, but more to come about all of that. Let's get into the vlog proper. Right, so the ride to London was a bit smooth and we took the car, you guys, because we were going as a family to pick up my brother-in-law. We haven't seen him since shortly after our wedding, and it's just been a while since we've seen him. And he was coming to town and we had to go pick him up. All right, so we made our way down to Heathrow, and it took a lot of planning because before we set out of the house, we had to plan our route, plan where we were going to go, make sure that where the lanes and everything, because driving in London is strange. I'll tell you that for free. I just don't know how you guys do it. Those of you who live in London and love it, I doff my hat to you, because it's a whole different game. Anyway, we parked somewhere in the airport and took the shuttle to go to the terminal where my brother-in-law was going to arrive at. Anyway, this was a bit easy. It made the journey easier because obviously we didn't have to take the car into the airport itself, and we could just navigate our way on foot and plan where we're going to go, since when you're going on your foot you don't get fines and all of that funny business. Anyway, we make our way to the airport and my husband was trying to get my brother-in-law on the phone just to find out where his gate was. And obviously we're here at Terminal 3 and we're just trying to find out where he is. Now, like I said, we haven't seen this person in years. I'm talking over 10 years. My brother hasn't seen his brother my husband hasn't seen his brother in over 10 years. I'm talking almost 13 something years plus. Anyway, we finally get to the arrival lounge, and as we get there we see some people waiting outside, but we don't know what they're waiting for. We're like, okay, are we staying, are we going? But it took a while for it to click, because I finally realized that this auntie was standing there because of Loki. This dog was the reason why she could not enter the airport. But eventually when we figured out that we could actually walk in, we just went past and then we went in. All right, so we got into the arrival lounge and obviously he wasn't there. He was somewhere else, so we were just trying to trace him on a call. Now, I personally haven't been to the airport in a while. I'm talking maybe 2-3 years, I don't know. Well, I just found this very nostalgic, very hectic, especially since my children are so small. I don't know, I still have a lot of misgivings about traveling with children, especially at this age, because can you see how somebody's walking like it's a playing ground? These airports where you have to be on guard, like until look at this video, you have to be at alert. Anyway, we finally make our way out of the arrival lounge and we go around just to locate where he is, because obviously my husband is getting directions on the call. Now we see these buses everywhere. These buses are the ones that take you from the terminals to the car park bays. There are several of them in the Heathrow airport. Anyway, we passed this bus and we're still trying to locate him. The boys are walking like they know where they're going, or like they've even been here before. Eventually we finally locate where he's staying, and then we go in. And I was planning this, I wanted to see my husband's reaction, whether he will be overjoyed. See how he hugged somebody I've not seen in over 10 years, like someone he saw last week. I don't know if it's just men or my man, but I don't know. It's just giving it's giving underwhelming, because this is someone you haven't seen in years. Where is the emotion? Where is the overjoyness? Where is it? Anyway, we make our way to those buses, because they're the ones that go to take us back to where we parked the car. And this is where we have been planning what are we going to do after we pick him up. Should we take a tour around London, because once we come back into our village, that's it too. There's really nothing to see, so we're like, okay, let's explore London a bit. And to be honest, there was a lot to see, because obviously London being a big city, there was a lot to see. There were people, places. I mean, popular places like the Ritz Hotel. We drove through Harrods as well. There's a big shopping mall that everyone is always raving about, especially during December, where they have their crazy sales and all of that. I mean, we drove through this place that had all this painting. I mean, if you want to decorate your house, all of this is, I don't know, don't ask me where this is, but it was on the road and we were just driving by. Anyway, London is beautiful, but it was giving me Lagos vibes. I don't know, it was just giving me Lagos vibes. And the patience for the drivers, like, that's for a different vlog, because they have no patience, no chill at all. Nothing at all indicates patience in this London driving. Before you wait and okay, let's calculate, where are we going, they are already honing. Like, there's no chill, not chill at all. Anyway, we finally make our way to this museum, and honestly, it filled me with more anger than, you know, or you know, I was more angry that why are these exhibitions here? I mean, these are artworks from all parts of the world, and they're here. Like, why? Don't get me wrong, I appreciate, you know, seeing them and all of that, but I mean, the culture, the tradition of the places where these things are from, I mean, were they donated, were they gifts? So what, how did they end up here is my question, actually. So if you can see some of the writings on the side of the glass, tell you where all of these things are from. I mean, this one is the staff of Shango. What's he doing in the middle of London in one of the museums? And there's several others, like there are a lot more hotel museums like this that have historic artifacts like this. And it was not just one, it was hundreds and hundreds of statues, of, you know, sculptures, of items. You know, you have drums, pots, clay pots, ceramic pots, ivory pots. There's a particular section in this particular museum that I was like, okay, when are they going back? Like, when are these things going back? I mean, you have things from the 15th century, from the 16th century, from the 20th century. What are they doing here is my question. And I'm wondering, why is it important for us to have an exhibit here? Is this part of the plan? When is this going back to where it came from? I had things from East Africa, South Africa, North of Africa, West Africa, you know, just so many things. I mean, I couldn't even pinpoint. I was angry for a number of reasons, because if I freeze this frame now, you can see where Nigeria is here, Uganda is there, all these spots, all these exhibitions. I mean, why do they have to be exhibited outside the country? I mean, why can't we have our own exhibition in our country? And if there is, can somebody signpost me to it, because I'm not understanding what I'm looking at here. I don't know. And you know, some of these museums, before you go in, you get donations, so it's like generating revenue on, I don't understand. I don't know. I was just filled with so much anger here. I mean, some of these pots, these particular ones were from, this one is from Ghana, there's one from Igbo, the Igbo land. There are several others from Benin. I mean, that one was like half of this museum, because there was so much. This one is from the Igbo land. This one above it is also from Igbo land. And, you know, I'm just wondering, why are they here? What's the point of exhibiting this outside of the country? I don't know. I feel like I'm repeating myself, but you get my point. Anyway, this particular museum is called the British Museum or something, I think. Yeah. And yeah, it's free to enter. We didn't pay, but you have the option to make a donation if you want to go and see the exhibition. I mean, masquerade, safe join, because what's this masquerade doing here? This is for the Igbo people as well. I had the full masquerade, though. It's not just the mask or the face. The whole entire masquerade was on full display here. And there was a whole section, I think there was 3 glasses dedicated entirely to Benin Bronze statues. And, you know, I don't know, it was just very annoying. This particular section was for South Africa, and you can see the closer attire is there. I mean, there are things from Ethiopia, from Morocco. There's just a lot from North Africa. You get a section where there are the dukes and the hats. Yes, I understand that. Yes, it's for enlightenment. They're showing people. I mean, there's a whole section for Africa. If you can, or if you are in London, you can just pay a visit, and I don't know, just make of it what you will. Well, yeah, I don't think I'll be visiting a museum like this again, because I don't know, for me it was more, what is this doing here, than, oh, this is from my place. You get what I mean? I don't know, I identified with these things, but my point is, why is it here, and when is it going back? More to the point of my question. Anyway, enough of my rant. This is the section for the dukes and the hats, and this is the place that, you know, after I saw about 3 slides or 3 glasses of Benin Bronze medals or sculptures, I was like, well, let's go, because even the person that we brought in is tired. Let's go. We still have a long drive. Let's just go home. And I was ready to go at this point, because the curiosity was getting too much. I almost approached one of the staff members to ask, you know, how long this has been here, when is it going back, is this on lease, does this belong to the British people, what's the point of having this exhibition here? But hello, as I'm a lover of peace and I don't like stress, I just decided to go, because I could not just stomach seeing all of these things here. It definitely, with no explanation as to why they were here or when they're going back. Anyway, we made our way back to our village, and it was a very lovely time getting to see my brother-in-law, getting to see his sister as well, because my sister-in-law also stays here in the country. We gave her a proper surprise. Anyway, we got to reunite, and it was a very lovely time to bond and, you know, just catch up after all these years. I mean, we speak on phone and all of that, but nothing compares to actually seeing someone in real life. Anyway, we got back, and I think later that day I went ahead to pack my first set of orders. I don't know if I've entered it here already, but I have started selling off some of my items on Vinted, and you guys would do well to check my store. I've been selling some nightwears, some of my shoes. I have also been selling some dressy items as well. I mean, these are things that I've just held on to for years and years, and some of them are new, some of them are fresh, some of them are items that I do not intend to keep, that I get from collaborations. So if you see anything you like that I have unboxed in the past, go ahead, check out my Vinted store and get them for cheap. I'm really selling them at really discounted rates, and I do same day shipping, which means that you are getting your items in less than 5 days, I think, for those who have ordered from me. Here I'm packing a pair of pajamas and some gold slippers, or gold sandals if you will. So yeah, I've packed that, and I'm sending them to the buyers that have purchased from my Vinted store. On this day, I think I posted about 7 items and I sold 3 in my first day. And while I was packing the 2 items, another order came through for the 3rd one, and I just went ahead to pack all of that up, and then I made my way to the impost locker where I posted the item. So if you guys are curious enough, or you want to patronize, I've also created an Instagram page about this, so follow me, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.